following program does not necessarily reflect the views, opinions, or policies of the City of Oceanside, its elected officials, KOCT, its board of directors, or staff.
Hello, I'm Ulysses Sixto, and this is Oceanside Spectrum, the Oceanside High School Edition. We will have an outstanding line of guests for you this month. First, we will get to know our new Oceanside High School principal, Ms. Collis. Then, we will follow up with the State of the School discussion with Ms. Collis. Next, we'll be discussing the new Oceanside High School Performing Arts Center with Oceanside Unified School District Director of Facilities, Matt Evans. Finally, we'll be discussing what's new on campus regarding activities with ASB Director and Dean of Students, Ms. McNeal. So join us right here on KOCT's Oceanside Spectrum, the Oceanside High School Edition. Today, we start our show getting to know new Oceanside High School Principal Ms. Collis. Due to a professional development at the County Office of Education, Ms. Collis could not join us today in the studio, so we met with her and taped the following interview. Let's take a look. Thank you, Ms. Collis, for joining us today in this interview. First off, new principal Oceanside High School, which you attended, taught, and now you administrate. Tell me, what were some of your experiences attending this high school?
I have many great memories and experiences from when I attended Oceanside High School in the 80s. Mm-hmm. One of my most fondest memories is my experience being on the field hockey team for 4 years. I was also part of the swim team and the gymnastics team. I was always on the ASB and all different types of roles. I really took advantage of all the opportunities to get involved in school, and it was really what made my experience here the most fun, is the things that I took advantage of as far as extracurricular and sports.
And then can you tell us some of your experiences after high school?
After high school, I graduated here in June, and in July I enlisted in the Air Force. Mm-hmm. I had a desire to travel the world and to be able to access free college education. So I was able to do that in the United States Air Force.
So you traveled, and tell me, what were your highlights of your traveling experiences in the Air Force?
I really have many. My first experience is my assignment in Korea. Mm-hmm. And I really enjoyed living in another country and experiencing the culture of the Koreans, and they were incredibly nice and supportive for the military members that were stationed in their country.
And what made you want to come back to Oceanside?
Well, I didn't originally always want to come back to Oceanside. I thought that I would have a career in the Air Force and continue to travel around the world. But I had an opportunity to take a special duty assignment as an academic instructor, and I was appointed as a military instructor. Yeah. And so for 4 years I taught in an academy, teaching leadership, and I found that I really enjoyed teaching. I enjoyed teaching adults, and so I had finished my degree, and so I decided to pursue a teaching credential while I was on active duty. So after I got my teaching credential, I decided that I would get out of the Air Force, and at that time, when I visualized myself as a teacher, I wanted to come back and teach here at Oceanside High School and give back to the high school that had given me so many fond memories as a teenager and young adult.
And as you were teaching here in high school, what was your first experience like? How did you feel when you stepped back into this campus and you were like, whoa, like, how did I go?
It was, I actually would say it was kind of emotional for me. Yeah. I'm fortunate enough that when I started here as a teacher, there were still a few teachers here that had taught me when I attended school here, and they were incredibly supportive. Names like Mr. Christopher, Mr. Barrett, they both pulled me aside and gave me some advice on how to manage the stress and the time commitment that a new teacher experiences as they start their teaching career. And I'm incredibly grateful to them for their support.
And what were some steps to becoming an administrator? What motivated you to become an administrator?
Well, I would say wanting to pursue just different experiences and continue to impact more students. My first teaching role was as a special education teacher, and so I worked with a small caseload of students. I had a desire to really branch out and be able to reach more students, so that I then switched over to my general ed credential. At that time, I was able to reach out and help and support the learning of more students. And then I just continue to have this desire to be able to design programs to support kids in their learning, and then continue to reach out and be able to reach and touch and have an impact on more students learning here. So I was fortunate enough that my military paid for much of my education, so I hadn't incurred any types of loans or anything like that. So that surely helped as well, that I could continue to go to school for free. So that encouraged me also to pursue my admin credential.
So you got your administrative credentials, and then what?
Well, then I applied for an assistant principal position here at Oceanside High School when I was working with Dr. Hurst. And I'm fortunate enough that he gave me an opportunity to be an assistant principal working for him. I did 3 years as an assistant principal, and those years were incredibly important because as an assistant principal, you have the opportunity to learn so much more about the administrative job, experiences that you can't get in the classroom when you're attending the credentialing program. So I worked with Dr. Hurst and then Dr. Pryoff as an assistant principal, and now I'm currently serving as the principal.
When you were an assistant principal, did you see any differences throughout the years when you were assistant principal in Oceanside High School?
I was fortunate that under Dr. Hurst and Dr. Pryoff as well, that they gave me the flexibility and the encouragement to try new things, and whenever I would come up with creative ways of supporting kids or designing programs, that they gave me the latitude to do that. So they helped me to really capitalize on my creativity in designing programs, and so I'm incredibly fortunate that they allowed me to do that, because that's an aspect of this job that I really enjoy, is tailoring programs to meet the needs of our students, the growing, changing needs of our students as well.
And then do you feel like the experiences you had as an assistant principal will help you as the principal?
Absolutely. So many times I reflect on how I handled a situation or the advice that the principals gave me when I was handling situations as an assistant principal. So it absolutely does help prepare you to be a principal. But there's other experiences now that I'm having that I don't have any experience with yet. And so that's been incredibly exciting as well.
So what were some of your highlights being first year principal?
There's been so many. There's things every day that are happening on this campus that make me so excited about the work the teachers and the other staff do here. It really started on the first day of school. Thanks to the former principal, he allowed me to get creative on the first day of school, and we changed the bell schedule so that students just attended each class for about 30 minutes to meet their teacher and do an activity to get to better know their teacher and the students in their classes. And then we had a short assembly for each grade level, and then we went out and finished the day with a carnival on campus. So we had an extended lunchtime, and kids were able to partake in lots of different carnival activities to just get some school spirit and get them to understand that school can be fun. And then a couple months later, we did the 9th grade Camp Advance. This year we took the most 9th graders we've ever taken to the overnight retreat. We took almost 320 students at an overnight retreat out on Camp Pendleton, once again to build those relationships with the incoming 9th graders so they feel connected and supported, and have staff members that they feel like they could go to whenever they need anything. And then it went on from there to continue to do some great work throughout the year.
We will return with more from the discussion with Principal Collis in just a moment.
You're doing great. We're gonna try this again, okay?
Okay.
Wheels, pedals, handlebar, brakes. Sit up straight, keep your weight in the center, keep your eyes on the road, hands on the grips, butt in the seat. If we feel ourselves falling, what do?
Just keep
pedaling. Good girl. Now remember, it's all about balance and steering. Steer with your hands, steer with your body. Steer into the corners and you stay out of trouble. And the bell's your buddy, so go ahead and ding that. All right, you ready? Here we go. Pedal, honey, pedal. There you go, you're a bike rider.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
This is Zoe. She's 1, and she's running for president, potentially in 2064. Because if she's kept safe and eats well, has the opportunity to learn and grow, if she has help getting ahead and support along the way, then Zoe could be president. Like her hero, Ababam Binken. Help kids like Zoe dream big. The why, for early learning, childcare, mentorship, and more. For a better us. Donate to the Y at zoeforpresident.net.
Welcome back. We continue our discussion with Principal Collis, but turn the focus to the state of the school and some changes which are taking place on campus. So, first year as principal at Oceanside, have you seen any improvements?
Well, I'd say the first improvement was a better start to the school year with our modified schedule that we did for students in the carnival. This year, by 7:35, all students were in their assigned classes. We were able to minimize any student that didn't have a correct schedule or needed adjustments to their schedule. So I would say that was just a great way to start off the school year. And we continue to see teachers taking more opportunities to collaborate with fellow teachers within their content areas and across content to support the learning of all students.
And then is there any long-term goals that you have?
Yeah, absolutely. We are in a transformation. We have created a design team, and we're working with a nonprofit organization called Pivot that is helping us to transform the learning experience here at Oceanside High School. We're moving in the direction of pathways. Pathways are cohorts of teachers and students that have a industry sector theme, so that students are learning and having experiences in the classroom that tie to a particular industry sector that they're interested in doing.
Can you collaborate more on that?
Sure. In moving forward, we will create opportunities for students to, 1, all have access to rigorous curriculum, 2, experience some type of career technical education that is tied to an industry sector. Along with that, all students will have an experience of work-based learning where they're going out in the community and working within the industry sector that they're interested in to get a job experience. And then they're also going to work harder at making sure that we have support services that tie directly to supporting the teachers and the students in each individual cohort pathway.
So do you think that this new program that's going to be implemented in Oceanside High School will not only prepare students for graduation, but also prepare them for the real world?
Absolutely. A big part of the design process is collaborating with our local junior college, MiraCosta, so that we design pathways that feed directly into MiraCosta, so that if they want to continue their learning, they can do that by just attending our local junior college. They're also going to leave here with the ability to enter the workforce if they so choose, at a level at which they'd be able to make a salary that they could sustain a decent living. And then if they chose to continue college, they could do that as well, but they'd also be making a decent wage to support themselves.
And how can you enhance preparation for the real world when students cross that stage at graduation?
Well, as we move forward in transforming the learning experience here, I'll be confident that every student that receives a diploma will have very specific skills that will be transferable to anything they choose to pursue, whether it be college or career, once they leave our school system.
And do you feel like the construction of the new theater will help implement this program?
Absolutely. The City of Oceanside continues to show their support for the use of our community by voting and passing bond measures that allow us to bring state-of-the-art facilities to our students. So it absolutely is going to help the students in a visual and performing arts pathway, so that they'll have experiences that tie into what they're interested in, and we'll have a facility at which to meet the needs of doing that.
So what other items are hot topics in this campus?
I think one question that has a lot of people wondering is what type of bell schedule we're going to be transitioning into with the transformation into this new educational experience we're designing here at Oceanside High School year after next. And in our community here locally, you hear of schedules like a 4x4 or a trimester 3x5 schedule. And what we're really going to be able to do here at Oceanside High School is based on the pathways that we choose to go with, and then looking at the work experience that we need to be able to provide the students, and then the needs that we feel our students also need. For example, maybe an advisory period once or twice a week, that we then design a bell schedule that accommodates all those things that we feel that our students and staff need here at Oceanside High School. So it's going to be a very unique schedule that is going to be special for the staff and students that attend here. And I believe it's going to be one that many other schools and districts will be coming to admire.
Do you think this shift in bell schedules could cause like any problems with athletics?
Absolutely, absolutely not. It's a part of our priority is that we create more opportunities in a new bell schedule that allows students to have access to more electives like our career tech educational courses that we're going to be offering. So along with that, we'll be able to access electives, AP courses, and still have room for their advanced sports classes that so many of our scholar athletes want to be able to do at Oceanside.
Can you talk about some improvements in the non-traditional programs here at Oceanside?
Absolutely. We have 3 academic and recovery center programs within our school district. We have one here on Oceanside High School campus. We have another one on the campus of Claire Bergner, and then we also have one on the campus of Camino High School. What these programs are able to do is design a learning experience that are unique to meet the needs of students that may not be comfortable or have another need to have a non-traditional type of learning experience. So these students are able to access programs online or in a small group with an instructor, all the while also being able to access some of our electives or any of the classes that they'd like to attend where they have an instructor available.
So I have one last question, and I'm pretty sure you know the answer to this. So, once a pirate?
Always a pirate.
When we return, we will sit down with Matt Evans from the Oceanside Unified School District and discuss the exciting new OHS Performing Arts Center. So stay tuned.
Here's your sandwich, miss.
Oh, thank you.
And your burger.
Awesome, thank you.
And your bowl of boiling water, sir.
Use motor oil or cocktail or toxin. Dispose carefully, you got lots of options. Never the trash, the drain, or the ground. That's insane and it ain't safe and sound. Oceanside is a zero waste city. Oceanside is a zero waste city. Oceanside is a zero waste city. Oceanside is a zero waste city.
Recycle used oil and filters at certified collection points in Oceanside. For locations, see greenoceanside.org.
Welcome back. So we are here with Oceanside Unified School District Director of Facilities, Mr. Evans. Thanks for joining us today, Mr. Evans.
It's my pleasure, Ulysses.
So can you please tell us a little bit about the new Performing Arts Center at Oceanside High School?
Sure. The Performing Arts Center is a project that the district's been working on for about 10 years, trying to get done. It's 29,000 square feet, has a number of different elements. The primary one is the 500-seat main theater. Also has a black box theater, which a lot of people aren't familiar with. That's a reconfigurable theater. Seats up to 120 people, depending on the seating configuration. There's a drama classroom and a recording and TV production studio.
So now that you told us a little bit about the positives of this new construction of the theater, what are some negatives to it?
Well, it certainly takes up a lot of room on the campus, and that's been obvious during the construction. And we're a little bit concerned about our ability to maintain it as time goes on. It certainly will be an expense to the district, but we think it's worth it given the instructional advantages it'll have for the kids.
And what kind of access would the community be having to this new theater?
It's primarily for students. So it's an instructional building, and certainly the drama program, the dance and music programs will be able to take advantage, as well as our recording and TV production programs. However, the students won't be using it all the time, and it'll be available for community productions as well as community events. In addition to performing arts kinds of productions, meetings and guest speakers, presentations, those kinds of things would all be appropriate. The district makes all of its facilities available to the community when they're not in use, and that's taken advantage of widely in the community in Oceanside.
So knowing that this new construction takes up a lot of space in Oceanside High School, what are the difficulties of parking lots?
Certainly the building was built on top of the student parking lot, and that's been a challenge during construction, even for the crews that are working on the construction, trying to find parking. We're only getting 37 spaces back after construction, so that's the new reality at Oceanside High School.
Yeah.
Now, we did do an exhaustive study of parking and traffic. We had to as part of the construction process and to fulfill the California Environmental Quality Act, the CEQA process for the building. And the study shows that there's plenty of parking for what the school needs during the day. However, when we have large events, it's not going to be possible to do that during the school day if they require people to come in from the outside and park on campus. We'll have to save that for evenings and weekends after school hours. And certainly, there's never been adequate parking on campus for things like home football games.
Yeah.
And so that will continue. But we have enough parking to serve the theater when there's a production in the evening.
And also, I noticed that you guys take the shuttles from Oceanside. From Oceanside to the Mission Elementary School. Do you think that helps with the parking?
Absolutely. Thank you for reminding me. We ran a shuttle program last fall during the construction from Mission Elementary for home football games, and that was very successful. We had a lot of riders, especially for the big games, and teams coming from out of town where people aren't familiar with the area around the high school and where they might park. So that was very successful, and we'll have to continue that, I think, for some time.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty helpful because I couldn't find parking around, and then I took the shuttle, and it was very convenient as well. There's also security there, so I felt really safe. Yeah. And do you feel like this new theater could enhance new opportunities to Oceanside?
Absolutely. It's certainly at a critical juncture in the community, right at the exit from I-5 southbound. As soon as you come to Oceanside, it's kind of the face of Oceanside right there. And when we built the Science and Technology building back in 2004, that certainly made a statement to the community. The Performing Arts Center will be even more dramatic and probably the prettier sister, if I might say. And so it's certainly going to be an iconic building and landmark for the community for many years to come.
Well, thank you. That's all we have. Thank you for joining us today in our interview, sir.
Thank you, Ulysses.
We will take a brief break, then be right back.
My name is Andrea Lee Greenberg. I walk for Autism Speaks because my son Tyler is the single most important person in my life. Walk Now for Autism Speaks raises awareness every time a city puts on a walk. It is a terrific way to come together as a community, to reach out to one another, to get the message out that these children and these adults are incredible human beings.
To find a walk near you, visit walknowforautismspeaks.org.
Welcome back. We are now joined by Ms. McNeal, the Oceanside High School ASB Director and Dean of Students. Thank you for joining us today. So can you please give us a recap of the activities that happened this year at Oceanside High School?
Sure. This year we had some amazing things that happened at Oceanside. We started our year with the first day of school carnival. We had photo opportunities for students. We had inflatables that they could jump on. We had games, activities. We also featured shortened class periods, which students and teachers enjoyed. And we had lots of lunchtime fun. Students were able to win prizes for gift cards to different food. And really, it was just an amazing way to kick off the year. Once we got into school, we had our homecoming, and homecoming this year was a Halloween theme. So our homecoming game was Friday night, and our dance was Saturday. We started the dance with a maze that was haunted. Did you go?
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Awesome. So we had a maze. We had an amazing DJ. We had drinks. We had food. Awesome way to wrap up October. In every single month, we were able to have an extended lunch. So November and December, we had our extended lunches. We came back in January. We kicked it off with an assembly. In February, we had our winter formal. That was on Camp Pendleton. We had record attendance at our winter formal, so we sold more tickets this year than we have in the past 6 years. Did you attend?
Yeah.
Awesome.
A lot of traffic.
So yeah, it was good though. So we had a great dance. We then had a basketball tournament. We did a 3-on-3 student basketball tournament. We had 32 teams of 3 students each, and they vied to be the top team.
Yeah.
And the 2 top teams got to play teacher teams. So that was really fun. And now we're working on our very last thing, which is going to be prom. So if you're a junior or a senior at Oceanside, you get to come out to prom this year at the amazing Hilton in Del Mar.
Have you seen any improvements like throughout the school year?
You know, students, I think, are getting to be a little bit more school spirited than they have in the past. We've really been pushing to try to get kids involved and rewarding kids that do come out and participate. Every Friday, we have music out in the quad. And like I said, we have an extended lunch once a month. And so that's really helping to increase student participation in activities.
Is there any long-term goals you have for Oceanside High School?
I would love to have every student attend football games and basketball games and be involved in some type of club or activity on campus. Every study shows that the more involved you are, the less likely you are to drop out in the long run. So if kids just find something that they're passionate about, we have a place for them. We have clubs in every different aspect of school life. You know, we have a Star Wars club, we have an anime club, we have yearbook and photography. So there really is a place for every student. They just need to find it.
Is ASB one of those places where students can come and contribute?
Absolutely. So we ask that students submit an application because we want to know that they really want to be there, not just that they're taking a class because they have a spot. But we want them to be student leaders. We are responsible for planning all of the on-campus activities, all of the dances, and all of the extended lunch activities. So I need students that want to work and that are going to be good role models for the rest of the school, as well as willing to dress up in silly costumes and participate in Spirit Week.
Is there any new activities planned for the end of the school year?
The end of the school year, we have our normal senior stuff that's coming up. We really don't have ginormous all school activities. We just had our last pep rally, and that kind of wraps up the year. We're really starting to look forward to the beginning of next year, which we'll have our carnival again, and then our homecoming will be October 20th. So we're already starting to plan for the coming school year.
And as these activities continue to increase, do you see an increase in school spirit?
Absolutely. One of the things that we've tried to do is encourage students that do participate, like in the dress-up days or activities. We'd like to give them something for participating. We've passed out T-shirts, we've passed out rally towels, we've given them bracelets, some gift cards for free Chick-fil-A or free Jack in the Box. So trying to get kids to feel like, hey, I participated, so I got a little something out of it. Maybe next time I'll participate too.
Well, thank you for joining us. That's all the time we have today.
You're very welcome.
That's our show for today. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host, Ulysses Sixto. We'll see you next time, Oceanside Spectrum, the Oceanside High School Edition.